They'll be calling you a radical. A lot of talk about here. Hang in there with me. We're going to talk a lot about the German repository. We're going to talk about the Yucca Mountain repository. We're going to talk about the nuclear waste dynamic as consent, Idaho, California. We're going to talk a lot about Indian Point. We're going to talk about the great news we got out of Nebraska. Good news, bad news, the whole American toxic. We're going to talk about Florida. First off, Florida. Florida's declared an emergency. You know, their free market fairy tales governor, that insane lunatic. Oh, the free market will clean it up. Don't you know the free market? Which I've named, oh, it's just the algae plume. The oceans died. It's just all coincidence post-Fukushima, all this happened. It's just all coincidence. Turkey Point's leaking into the freaking Everglades. It's just all coincidence. Rockefeller's baby, Rosemary's baby, Russell's baby, all the same baby. From the University of Chicago, Rockefeller, Winthrop, Bill Walmart Clinton, freaking Barry Antoinette, let them eat yellow cake. These same globalist rats just perpetuate this freaking thing. The new normal, cancer for all, longevity, just like, you know, Russia. Oh, the new normal. Welcome to the Ukraine, United States. Mayak all over them. Freaking desecrate the whole freaking place. Destroy it. Average lifespan there, 51 years old. Get ready in the United States as we've headed south. Bypass surgery, organ transplants. You'll live to be 100 easily. You want to bet? Can't happen to me. Mimi, American Mimi. Just call me Mimi. I'm American Mimi. It can't happen to me. Brother died, cousin died, uncle died, sister died, freaking child died, autism, multiple sclerosis. Can't happen to me. I'm in my freaking shiny coffin. It's amazing to me how America is willing to accept this usury complex, this usury military base. Mayday, mayday, mayday. Military parade all day, every day. Military parade. Sound familiar? Russia, remember when they did it? The Soviet Union, remember when they did it? The old Soviet Union. Everything, all their resources, the redistribution of wealth, it's free market. When I love it how they call it free market, yet they're willing to dump all their wealth into a military complex, which is really a fascism complex. Corporations, Lockheed Martin, Halliburton, which really are the military. The United States, the Pentagon, the Department of Defense, the Department of Lockheed Martin, the Department of Agriculture, the Department of Monsanto, the Department of Treasury, the Department of Goldman Sachs. I won't stop there. So it's amazing to me. So Turkey Point's leaking in there. It's just the talks, put free market. And then you got the radical left who, I mean, they're insane this past. I mean, if this last 8 years hasn't proved you how corrupt the E.P.A. is, how corrupt these government serf agencies are, the academia bubble. Gina McCarthy's one of the greatest criminals than ever. Barack Obama, I mean, it kills me how nobody holds him accountable on the Flint, Michigan, on any of it. I mean, it's crazy to me how he gets passes. I mean, how does this guy just pass on everything? You know, it's just all coincidence. You know, Fukushima. It's just all coincidence. Pacific Ocean's in total collapse, the greatest ecological collapse. So, Oregon, okay, there's Florida, declared American toxic. You know, which I call fuktonium, as you know, the over-agricultural freaking Monsanto spraying, combined with every other toxin just dumping up. The cruise lines dumping their Viagra waste right in the frame. You know, throw in Fukushima, the gamma rays from hell. We don't even know what it is, which I've named fuktonium. If you think that's crazy, think about it, Livermore. They came up with the 4 on the bottom of the pyramid, which I invented. You know, nobody gonna give me credit when I do all this dirty work. I'm the one that come up with all this. No, they give themselves awards. You know, just like Barry Antoinette, you know, the mass murderer. He's a Nobel Peace Prize winner. Really? You know, so Oregon, the Bonneville number right now. This is the marquee number, and then I'll talk about the Copper River in Alaska. The Bonneville number right now is in total collapse. Total, I mean, salmon go to sea 5 years. That number's barely over 200,000. They should be well north of 1 million at this point. The Copper River cutoff is July 27th. The Copper River right now is at half. That's by volume. At half what they were last year. Half. By weight, they're down 80% by weight. You know, that's all coincidence. The tide pool's all collapsing dead. That's all coincidence post-Fukushima in this acute nature fashion. Germany. Germany has finally voted. They're going to build a repository. So they've agreed. They're done with nuclear. They've had it by 2022. You know, the dance. So they're done. So they've come up, agreed to build their repository, their Yucca Mountain. So they're going to do it. So this whole evolution of this great American lie, American toxic, the nuclear industry is nothing but a gigantic lie. It's been a giant lie since the day I mean, from the inception. That's all it is a lie, 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 lie. So I've called them, I've renamed them, and, you know, the Manson family. You know, Charles Manson never killed anyone. He just got them to do it. That's what this is. So you've got Ken Buesler, you've got Jay Cullen, you've got Kathleen Higley. So I'm going to develop a picture that you got Lake Barrett, you got all these people, you got what's his name from Forbes, these guys. They are the new Manson family. They're the killers. Yeah, passive aggressive, indirect. No, I mean, this is pure evil. So Como in New York, and I'll be in New York, it looks like August 8th or so. You know, I'll be there for a few days, and we're going to do some work on Turkey Point. And the only reason I'm going there is my whistleblower promised me this time, Sam, he's promised me that he's going to do the interview with me, and that's going to be the day. As soon as this interview goes, that'll be the end of Indian Point. So Como, the governor, who's really a mob boss, and what's the Italian word for the shakedown? They go around and make you pay for fake protection. Pazzo, he's pazzoing everybody now. The shakedown, he says, oh, the temporary solution, we need more money in Indian Point, why they're killing you. So he's the mob boss. So the mob boss, Como, is putting the shakedown on you in New York. Right here, right now. Don't go for it. They're trying to steal the clean energy money to hand it to these mass murdering freaks. By the way, it's all Goldman Sachs freaking same players that own Indian Point. They're not public utilities. That's what people got to get out of their head. So this whole dynamic, I mean, it's unbelievable, American toxic, how you just go along with this catastrophe, nightmare. They're back to normal. Now think about this statement they're saying. That's being regurgitated all over, and you love all nuclear fighters. This is when they play this freaking passive-aggressive mass murdering game. They like to do it in the summer when everybody's on vacation, nobody's paying attention, but that's when they play this game. They get into the domain. We have to counter. It's important we counter in the reality and the truth, because we have the truth on our side. These are mass murdering, lying, evil scum rats that will do anything for money. So, to Nebraska, the Sioux, it's a major, major victory. They've kicked those Canadian uranium mining rats out. These scumbags, by the way, they're under investigation for tax fraud. Okay, this is the biggest uranium mining company in the world. The Canadian scumbag, the Queen's bitch, the great weasel nation. Oh, they living up to their reputation. Canada, the great, not my words, I can't name them that. The great, we sign up, we don't get nuclear bombs, but we produce all the uranium. So the scumbags, the NRC, which is the nuclear wagon cheerleaders, which, you know, they'll be in Idaho in here in a few days. This whole thing, I don't know if I'll be in San Diego, because I got the Reagan case going on that. So yesterday, the ex-prime minister, again for the upteenth time in California, did a press conference talking about, you know, breaking down, crying on the USS Reagan troops, 400,000. I was in the hospital with one of them. He's dead. You know, when I was fighting for my life in the bone marrow transplant center, he was in there with me. He died. So he's crying. This is it. Now remember, these guys, the ex-prime ministers, the last two, are both pro-nuclear, pro-nuclear. He told me right to my face. I talked to him in California. I think he must live in California now. He must be living in Carlsbad near the desal plant. Drink up. So he says, oh, you know, they're all crying, they're anti-nuclear. I says, how are you so anti-nuclear? Well, the American island, the experiment. Now remember, the American experiment called Japan. Now let's remember, mission accomplished, eugenics, we took it over. You know, that was part of Yalta by the Sea. We tried the 0% interest rate, the experiment on them, right? The Nikkei, their market peaked in 1986, Chernobyl. It peaked at 35,000. It's at what, 15, 16,000, 30 years later. They have a declining population. They have a young population that doesn't even have sex with each other. I mean, I taught right here, these Japanese kids come in here, they're like, a lot of them, not all of them, you know, a lot of them are like, they have the mentality of like a 6-year-old, a 7-year-old. They're smart, and you know, they just go to class, whatever, they're studiers, but you know, they have Pokemon backpacks and stuff that your little 6-year-old likes, and then they like to go to Disneyland. And you know, this eugenics experiment on the island of Japan is, to these eugenicists, has been incredible. So 0% interest rate, you know, radiate your population over and over. And you don't believe me on this, I want you to just look up John Holdren. Look up who he is. Ken Buesler's cousin. They're cousins, by the way. They're cousins. They look at the top of the freaking list on the Manson family. The very top of the list is John Holdren. He is, well, he's Manson. You know, he gets all these lunatic scumbag rats to do this. Is the crime family. So Como's, the shakedown's going on Indian Point. The shakedown, the free market will clear it up, and then the corrupt E.P.A. Gina McCarthy crashes RedNet, now she's head of the E.P.A. I mean, it's so corruption, over the top, this incredible lie, and it's amazing to me how America's willing to accept this. They're willing to accept this $20 trillion debt, free market fair deal, send your jobs. They're willing to get up at freaking 5 o'clock in the morning in their death spiral and go to work. They're willing to sit in traffic in a godly freaking thing. They're willing to poison themselves. They're willing to eat poisoned food. They're willing to go lock and just wave flags. Go military. Prove it. So the story's all over CNN, Fox, which that's run right out of the House of Windsor, run right out of New York. They put that narrative out. The flag wavers, who are the most, I mean, they're the most anti-American thing there ever freaking was. So Bangladesh, oh, how nice is they've invented ISIS. They come up, oh, ISIS killed 20 in Bangladesh, yet Walmart factory collapses, kills 2,200, which has happened nothing. You don't care about that. Walmart factory collapses, kills 2,200 in Bangladesh, the mass murder terrorists called Walmart, you know, which is Target, which is all of them, which is the dollar store, which is everyone. That's no news. That's no news when these American terrorists freaking kill the Bangladesh by the tens of thousands. But, oh, they make up 20, you know, how nice is they've invented ISIS. Went off to Afghanistan to kill the Taliban. Went off to Iraq to get Halliburton and corporations a big old freaking sack. Went off to Vietnam to kill the Viet Cong because I was born in the USA. And I love Springsteen. Ooh, that Born in the USA. You ever read the lyrics? You ever listened to the lyrics? I mean, born in, I mean, well, how nice is they've invented ISIS. Lighten up, baby, I'm in love with you. Lighten up, baby, I'm in love with you. Lighten up, baby, I'm in love. Heartbreaker, lighten up, I'm in love with you. You know, when I, Stairway to Heaven, Kevin, there's no Stairway to Heaven. 3 11s, 11s, went into the bone marrow plants on 11, 11, 11, the 33rd soup can, Kevin Blanche by the sea. So many dynamics are going, and I want all anti-nuclear, all hands on deck right now. We have so much wind at ourselves right now, in our back, right now, for the first time in history, for all this work that we've done. This, you know, Johnny Kevin Appleseed, planting these fucking seeds. You know, it doesn't matter about Buchanan, doesn't matter about credibility, it's just fucking, we survive, we fucking radiate by the sea. We do the fucking dirty work with the fucking Fukushima backup singers. We do it all. We have, this is an important marquee time right now. We have these on the rope of dope punks on the rope. KO Buser them. KO them. KO them. It's time to KO Indian Point. It's time to Kindia Point. The Columbia generation says it's time to KO every one of these things. And it's time to get real about kicking the can on the repository. The nuclear waste's got to go somewhere. And we got to do it, you know, and that's what I think. But, well, we'll see. But Germany's done it. There's a fight that's going in Helsinki, Finland. I mean, I can't believe how many dynamics are at play right now. So, in Pine Ridge, Nebraska, these uranium rats, the judge ruled that the NRC's a bunch of corrupt nuclear rally cheerleader bastards. The E.P.A., Gina McCarthy has got to be one of the greatest criminals who ever walked. Barack Obama, not the worst president in the history of mankind, or leader to the environment, the worst human being. What's BP? What's for American toxic? He has toxified this country freaking so hardcore. Executive order raising the legal limits on your water, your air that you breathe. This place is toxic. The new normal. It's back to normal. Cancer's normal. Cut off my breast. Have my prostate rip out. Die at 51 years old. The new normal. Autistic children. Freaking new normal. Get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Work till 6 o'clock. Freaking 0% interest rate. More debt. More debt. Borrow more money. Go to school. Borrow more money. Graduate with $300,000 in debt. The new normal. I mean, I can't believe how the American toxic has gone along with this. Stay tuned. All hands on deck. We have a lot of wind at ourselves right now. We keep fighting. We keep fighting. We break this nuclear freaking back. Break their back. Stay tuned. Fuck Como's kickback money. You know, fucking the mob. Stay tuned.